Hello everyone and welcome back to the JakeSRC Stuff channel. And before we get into actual plain stuff, two little bits of notes. Number one, I attempted to edit the last couple of videos that you'll have seen before this. I had massive issues with my MacBook because OneDrive had basically moved all the folders everywhere and knackered it. Don't use OneDrive, it is utter shite. So I had to basically back everything up and reset it because it wouldn't physically let me move the folders back to where they should be. Anyway, because of that, again, I don't know exactly, so I'm recording this on the 18th of October. I don't know when these are going to get out because they're going to take a lot of editing, and because of the fact that I forgot to export any settings out of DaVinci Resolve before I reset my MacBook, I have to redo all the editing options. Now, something that I did fix with the first two videos is I did fix the flickering holds of his white to the camera and it flickers. I have fixed that, but I did notice that it had knocked some other settings out, like HDR had gone and things like that. I've now turned HDR on, but I'm also going to figure out how to deal with HDR in DaVinci Resolve. So yeah, these videos may be slightly delayed while I try to figure that out. Because I'm going to have to figure out 4K recording settings for the first two videos and then do the same thing for these last ones. But so yeah, that's a bit of a nightmare. Now, I've also recorded the start of this video once, but I kind of got here, started the video and realised I couldn't remember anything that I'd done in the previous episode because I basically went from that to try and go, I'll do half an hour of editing just to start with, feeling really rough, and ended up spending 2 hours trying to fix and then eventually resetting and setting back up my MacBook. So I was beyond dead. I mean, it's currently 11:30 at night, so we're not going to be doing too much today, but if nothing else, it'll help me get the 4K stuff sorted and set up as it should be ready for the next episodes. Now, what I did say at the beginning of the episode you're not going to see is I was trying to decide again what to do with this receiver. I've plugged everything into the front. I just need to do a couple of servo cables for the ailerons, and obviously I need to put in that beeper and the light if you ever get to it. What I was trying to decide to do was, again, what are we doing with this receiver? And there's essentially three things I could do. Can I adjust this? So we can either have it like this, and sort of built into the leading edge of the fin, which in some ways I think it'd be quite sleek, but also having it bang straight up and down is the best for reception. The second option is to do this. So it's nice straight up and down. The receiver can go towards the leading edge if you like, but other than that, everything's good. Or another option was even just to completely mount it on the tail, so completely separate on a stick here. That last one's definitely gone. It's down basically to the other two. What I said at the end of the clip that you've not seen, so was that I was going to go and try and find sort of FPV build videos to try and decide what we're doing. And the trouble is, a lot of people put it in the end of a wing, which I've done plenty of times, or it's in a flying wing, so it's near the middle, but it's still sort of through the equivalent of sticking it through the tailplane, which I'm not going to do because that's just kind of dumb for this kind of model. But then I suddenly had sort of an epiphany. I was worried about foam stopping the signal. There's no carbon in this fuselage at all. The only carbon that's in this plane is in the wing. The fuselage has no carbon in it at all. There's no sort of carbon boom down the middle. I don't think, even so, it's going to be out of the way. The only thing that could possibly cause a problem with signal, really, is the control rods. The control rods being metal, but again, they're not going to be directly touching, and there is sort of, third of an inch, so it should be fine. Now, another thing that I thought to myself as well was all of your regular foam planes, so I'm not talking FPV, I'm talking the ones that have got, my Futaba 2.4 system in there. Pretty much all of those have the antennas inside a foam fuselage. So it's coated on all sides by foam. There may be wood, there may even be carbon. It's part of the planes, and they work all right. or you know, usually do. So what I've decided is I am just going to do sort of the easy option, if you like, and bury it like that in the tail. Now, again, I do kind of wish I had done this before I glue the tail on, because I could have had the tail nice and flat on the bench, you know, worked with the scalpel or worked with a soldering iron or whatever. The fact that obviously it's glued together now is going to be a bit of a pain. I'm going to probably try and see if I can get this sort of on the side of the bench, if I can sort of show you what I mean by that, sort of like this probably, to try and do it. But again, it's still, I would recommend, if you're going to do this, to do it when the tail isn't there. So we can put the tail in, or put the receiver in like that. If I show you the sort of finished results upside down, it's going to look a bit like that, and we'll get the receiver sort of tucked into the foam down here, and we'll take the sort of wire down out of the way. Now, I am going to do that tonight, I think, so you'll probably get a clip about that. This is going to be a very short video, just because I've run out of time, to be honest with you, time, energy and patience. I'm still not 100% well, as you can probably tell by my voice, and it's slightly squeaky nature. And again, as I say, in fact, it's 11:30 at night, and I was up since 6 due to coughing, sneezing and feeling crap. Probably isn't the best thing, and again, the more that I'm going to do this, the more I'm going to want to die. So I will start doing some cutting, and we'll see where we can get up to. Okay, so I've decided that well, first of all, I must point out this isn't a how-to, this is just how I'm doing it. But I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, just so you can maybe decide to do it a different way or the same way or whatever. So I marked a line roughly parallel with the hinge, and marked a line for roughly where the top of the cut's going to be, and did a cut with the scalpel. So this just gets the basic antenna bits in. What I've then done is drawn around the sort of big T connector in the middle, and then I can sort of do more cutting out with the scalpel. Once we've got the T in, I'll probably put in a little start of this, we can then decide what the track for our antenna is going to be. I've made sure the light is on this side, so that we can see it. It probably would shine through, because let's be honest, it's foam. But again, I don't want to risk and cause any weird or wonderful issues. So let's do some cutting. Okay, so as you can see, we've got it more or less buried. Another thing I've got to make sure I don't actually get the fin twisted. What I've done is I've drawn again with a pencil the rough route that I want this bit of cable to go. So let's get that cut, let's get the cable in, and let's start trying to hollow out a hole for the actual circuit board itself. Okie dokie, so it's in at that. It is cut in. I've cut around here. I've cut this maybe a little bit too deep, but never mind. Just need a bit of tape across around there, a bit of tape over the receiver and everything, although at the same time it might be a good idea to let some cold air get into it to keep it cold, but again, drag, blah, blah, blah. But that is all in. So before we end this video, again, it's going to be short, but apologies for that. Let's actually get a battery plugged into the speaker controller for the first time. Let's see if that sets on fire. And yeah, let's see how we go. Okay, so the radio is on. Another thing got out of the box for the first time is this boom stopper from Hobby King. It has got a fuse in, so we can use this as a boom stopper in case I've got something terribly wrong. So I'll plug that into the speaker controller. I know you're going to struggle to see some of this. 4-cell should be fine, even though I'm going to run it off 3-cell in the end. I'm slightly concerned about doing this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Well, nothing's immediately exploded. Okay, that's working, other than the elevator being the wrong way around, which I think is just a case of system, no, return, no, model, aha. So go across to output, channel 2, and reverse it. There we are. So that's working. do, possibly with programming the speaker controller. So let me unplug it, throttle it up, and just teach it where the new centers are. And it's slightly different for all speaker controllers.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Yeah, there we are. Simple as that. Here's just a couple of beeps. So for those who don't know how to do that, full throttle, plug it in while on full throttle, so obviously it's recommended to remove the prop. And then as soon as it makes a couple of beeps, shut it down. It'll then do all the normal beeps. And then you can see the throttle is much closer to the bottom. And the actual motor kicks in. Before it was about sort of like 8th throttle before it would kick in. But yeah, okay, so that's that done. Again, it needs a bit of tape. But again, we're getting closer and closer to this being done. I mean, essentially at this point, all we've got left to do is what this plane was actually built for, which was installing our 4K HD, not quite, our HD system. So we've got the canopy. I think I've done the back of the canopy in wood. I need to do the actual base of the canopy in wood so that we can install our servo for pan, which is that one. We can then mount the camera to that. I've also, of course, got the Flytron strobe we saw at the end of the last episode. I'll install that on top and run it through. Put a beeper on there as well, and then get that all programmed to a switch. We're getting there ever so slowly. Something that I do need to do is, now that everything's sort of working. CPU limit, that's not great. Alright. So, with that, I'm going to leave it for another day. As I say, I've now got the pain. Quite possibly, this could be very expensive, what I'm about to do, because I need to try and airdrop all the videos off my phone onto my laptop, which is becoming increasingly a pain in the arse. To the point where I'm half tempted to get a new iPhone with USB-C just so I can drag and drop stuff off of it. To the point that someone at work has got an iPhone 16. I may take my MacBook in and just see if I can drag a random picture off his phone. Just to see how easy it is, because oh, it's going to be a pain in the arsehole. But yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to thank you for watching. Now, like, comment, subscribe and stuff. Hopefully I've managed to edit the previous 2 episodes with something sensible, because Christ only knows, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.